friends, welcome to the point. In this session, we are discussing about forest and wildlife resources. In this planet Earth, millions of living organisms, starting from microorganisms, bacteria to humans, everyone exists. But this entire habitat that we live, it has an immense biodiversity. We humans, along with all the living organisms, we form a complex web of ecological system in which we are just only a part and very much dependent on this system for our own existence. For example, we can say that the plants, animals and microorganisms, they recreate the quality of air that we breathe, the water we drink and also the soil that produces our food, without which we cannot survive. So we can observe many kinds of plants, animals and flowering in our environment. Depending on their existence, IUCN, that is International Union for Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources, they classified different kinds of plants and animals as normal species, endangered species, vulnerable, rare, endemic and extinct. So this normal species means a species whose population levels are considered to be normal for their survival, such as cattle, sal, pine, rodents, etc. Endangered species. These are the species which are in danger of extinction. The survival of such species is difficult if negative factors that are led to decline in their population continue to operate. Examples like black bug, crocodile, Indian wild ass, etc. Vulnerable species. These are the species whose population has declined to levels from where it is likely to move into the endangered category in the near future. For example, blue sheep, Asiatic elephant, Gangetic dolphin, etc. Rare species. Species with small population, they may move into endangered or vulnerable category if the negative factors continue to affect them. So for example, brown bear, wild Asiatic buffalo, desert fox, hornbill, etc. Endemic species. These are the species which are found only in some particular areas, which is completely isolated by nature or geographical barriers. Examples are Andaman teal, Nicobar pigeon, Andaman wild pig, etc. Extinct species. These are the species which once lived on the earth, but its presence is completely absent in the near days. So such species are called as extinct species. A species may be extinct from a local area, region, country, a continent or the entire earth. For example, Asiatic cheetah, pink-head duck, dinosaurs, etc. Asiatic cheetah, it is the world's fastest land mammal. The cheetah, it is a unique and it is a specialized member of a cat family, and its speed is about 112 km per hour. But this cheetah is often mistaken for a leopard. And this species, it was declared extinct in India and long back in the year 1952. Conservation of forest and wildlife resources. Conservation means it preserves the ecological diversity and our life support system. For example, water, air and soil. It also preserves the genetic diversity of plants and animals for the better growth of species and breeding. For example, if we take agriculture, we are still depending on traditional crop varieties. Fisheries too, they are heavily dependent on maintenance of aquatic biodiversity. The Indian Wildlife Protection Act, it was implemented in the year 1972 with various provisions for protecting habitats. An all India list of protected species by banning hunting, by giving legal protection to their habitats and restricting trade in their wildlife. And these are the things which were implemented through this act. Apart from this, central and many state governments, they have established national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. The central government, it also announced several projects for protecting specific animals which were gravely threatened, including the tiger, the one-horned rhinoceros, the Kashmir stag, etc. And most recently, the Indian elephant, black buck, the great Indian bustard and the snow leopard, they have been given a full or partial legal protection against hunting and trade throughout India. Project Tiger, it is a tiger conservation program which was launched by the Government of India in the year 1973. This project, it aims at ensuring a viable population of Bengal tigers in their natural habitats. It protects them from their extinction and preserves area of biological importance as a natural heritage. Presently, the conservation projects are focusing on biodiversity rather than few of its components. Types and distribution of forest and wildlife resources. In India, most of the forest and wildlife resources, they are owned and managed by the government through the forest department or any other government departments, and they are classified under the following categories as reserved forest, protected forest and unclassed forest. Reserved forest means more than half of the total forest land it has been declared reserve forest. Reserved forests are regarded as the most valuable as far as the conservation of forest and wildlife resources are concerned. Protected forest. Almost one-third of the total forest area is protected forest as it is declared by the forest department, and this land are protected from any further depletion. Unclassed forest. These are other forest and wasteland which belongs to both government as well as private individuals and communities. Reserved and protected forest are also referred to as permanent forest estates, which is maintained for the purpose of producing timber and other forest produce for a protective reason. Community and conservation. Conservation strategies have been following in India since long time. Instead, we still often ignore Indian forest and also home of some of the traditional communities. In some areas of India, local communities are struggling to conserve these habitats along with the government officials, recognizing that only this will ensure their own long-term livelihood. In Sariska Tiger Reserve, which is in Rajasthan, villages have fought against mining by citing the Wildlife Protection Act. The famous Chipko movement in the Himalayas, it has successfully resisted deforestation in several areas, but still it has shown that community afforestation with indigenous spaces can be enormously successful. Farmers and citizens group like Beej Bachao Andolan in Tehri and Navadanya, it has shown up the adequate levels of diversified crop production without the use of synthetic chemicals. In a joint forest management program, which furnishes a good example for involving local communities in the management and restoration of degraded forest. The program has been in existence since 1988 when the state of Odisha passed its first resolution for the joint forest management. Joint forest management, it depends on formation of local institutions that undertake protection activities mostly on the degraded forest land managed by the forest department. It is clear that the environmental destruction and reconstruction in India is that local communities everywhere they have been involved in some kind of natural resource management, but there is still a long way to go before local communities are at the center stage in decision making. Accept only those economic or developmental activities that are people centric, environment friendly and economically rewarding. See you in the next session with some more interesting topic. Thank you.